Morning, everybody. It's King Drop the Outlaw. Yeah, people like, share, and subscribe, and it's definitely subscribe because I ain't got I've only got 10 subscribers, man. That's I need people to subscribe, man, to get more content and it. I was I'm working hard on that, and if you actually see the content keep coming and that. I need more people to start subscribing, help me build up my channel and that, but anyway, today I'm going to be talking about Monster Kody, aka Sanyika Shakur. He was a gang member, he was a member of the Crips. Rest in peace to Monster Kody. I remember reading his books 2005 or something when I was in prison myself. So yeah, I was locked up with my brother. We both read it. It was a brilliant book. And that was the first book, and then he started beefing with the Rolling 60s Nipsey Hussle's gang. So yeah, man, real interesting guy and that, man, he was. His brother got interviewed for the Watts riots and that after Rodney King and all that stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, Sandy Kouchoukoua, also known by his former street moniker Monster and Monster Kody, was an American author and former gangster. He was a member of the Los Angeles-based Trey Gangster Crips. He got his nickname as a 13-year-old gang member when he beat and stomped a robbery victim until the man was disfigured. And it said in the newspaper, whoever did this was a monster, and that's where he got his name from, Monster Kody. So yeah, Shakur claimed to have reformed in prison, joined the Republic of New Africa movement, and wrote a 1993 memoir called Monster, the autobiography of an LA gang member. That's the book I read. You should get it on your Kindle, whatever. Read it, man. Real interesting. Good book. Good book. I'm probably gonna do my top 5 books, man, as well. Done films and that, man. I'm gonna do books, books are important, man. They've been an important part of my life and that, do you know what I mean? I might even do a rundown, a bio and that, just tell you a little bit about my life and that, do a video about me. When I wait till I get to 100 videos, 1,000 subscribers first, and then I'll do that and that, obviously I'm below the knee amputee, and all that shit. So I got my own story, man. You know what I mean? But once I get to 1,000 subscribers, like I said, man, I'll tell that in it. So people start subscribing and that. Yeah, sound. Or show me some love in it, man. Monster described how Shakur was drawn into gang life, his experiences as a gangster, both on the street and in prisons. Eventually, his transformation into a black nationalist. Shakur spent 36 months at San Quentin State Prison and 5 years at Pelican Bay in solitary. That was prison, most of which time was spent in solitary confinement. There you go, where he converted to Islam. When it's like that shit, man, you're gonna look for you're gonna look to God or Allah or whatever. Do you know what I mean? When shit is the fan, you know what I mean? And the books there as well. The books there, and that's when you're looking for your faith, man. When you're in that desperate place, man. Some people use faith to help them get through it. Do you know what I mean? So I've been there. I'm saying. So yeah, we converted to Islam in March 2007. Shakur, already sought by police for parole violations and named on the city's most wanted gang members list, was arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department for allegedly breaking into the home of an acquaintance and beating him in order to steal his car. The charges represent a possible third strike that could send Shakur back to prison for life. In May 2008, Shakur pleaded no contest to carjacking and robbery charges and was sentenced to 6 years in state prison. Also in 2008, Shakur made his fiction debut with the publication of Thug Life Grow Atlantic Books. That's another thing. He was a good friends with Tupac Shakur. It's actually, if you go on YouTube, you can get a phone call. I don't know if he taped it or like the FBI were listening in supposedly, but there's a phone conversation. It's about 30 minutes long between Monster Kody and Tupac. Go look it up, man. You can listen to it on YouTube. It should still be on there. And like you hear him, and that Monster Cody's like, man, you really got shot in that. He's like, because both of them got shot in it. Like Tupac got shot 5 times, Monster Kody got shot, and he's like, man, the Tupac, we can't lose you, man, we can't lose you, you know what I mean? And Tupac died not that long after. Rest in peace to Tupac as well. I see a few things in the news recently about it, man. And I hope, man, fucking, you know what I mean? Keefy D's he's a buster. You know what I mean? Like, talking about bus, like sticking to the street code. You already snitched, bro. You already snitched. You know what I mean? And I can say that, like, I've been there, like, I've been there with years on the line. You know what I mean? And I'll never open my mouth. You never find someone come on and say, like, I snitched on them and anything like that. So I can call people a snitch because I've lived that life. Do you know what I'm saying? Keefy D's a snitch, man. Right? And I hope he does get fucking nicked, man, for the Tupac thing. And I don't wish jail on no one. And I hope him and Puppy get smoked. Do you know what I mean? Oh, shit, man. Demon time. You know what I'm saying? I love Tupac, man. Represent, man. I should have worn my Tupac t-shirt, like. But anyway, I digress, and I get back to it. He got 6 years. Thug Life. He was released from Pelican Bay after serving 2/3 of his 6-year sentence in August 2012. Shakur was born Kody DeJohn Scott in Los Angeles, California on November the 13th, 1963, to Ernest Scott and Buddy, Canada, both from Houston, Texas. Kody was the 5th of 6 children. All beginning with K, by the way, this man. Including 4 brothers and 2 sisters, Kevin, Kim, Calvin, Kelshawn, Kody, and Candace. Shakur believed it was probable that he was the son of former Los Angeles Rams running back Dick Bass, and that he was conceived during an adulterous affair that his mother was having with a football star. I don't know, that is a claim for which there was no compelling evidence. Ernest Scott held a bitter resentment towards Buddy's affair and physically abused his wife regularly throughout Shakur's early childhood. I'm not gonna say it as well, like, I can't even remember, man, but, yeah, Ernest Scott physically and emotionally abused Kody, routinely beating him and showing deliberate favoritism towards his biological children over Shakur, which included taking the other children out to dinners and movies and trips to his hometown of Houston and intentionally leaving Shakur behind. In 1970, Ernest and Buddy Scott divorced, and for the next 5 years, Ernest Scott would visit the family on weekends, but still openly displayed contempt for young Shakur. In 1972, Buddy Scott moved her family into a house on the West 69th Street and Danker Avenue in a very rough and gang-infested neighborhood on the west side of South Central Los Angeles, man. Sheesh. South Central, man. According to the Shakur, his first encounter with street gangs occurred at age 10 when he was assaulted by 2 13-year-olds who stole his money. Because Buddy Scott worked several jobs to support a large family as well as the neglect that he received from Ernest Scott, young Shakur would often hang out in the streets of his new neighborhood. It was around this time that he began hanging around his neighbor, Stanley Tookie Williams. You know, that Tookie, man, Raymond Washington started the Crips, they started the Crips. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's certified. Stanley Turkey Williams, the leader of the West Side Crips street gang, and Raymond Washington was the leader of the East Side Crips. But someone killed them. And if you notice with the GDs and the BDs as well, it's like you get the main person who started the gang, and then like they've got control of their gang, yeah, everything's gone sweet, yeah, and then boom, something happens, and like Monster Kody, like I mean Stanley took Williams, like there was some funny things about his conviction and all that, and like they killed him, and Arnold Schwarzenegger killed him. He wouldn't give him clemency, like, and he was working with children and that doing children's books, so. Yeah, like, and he won't give him clemency, and he put him to death because he got death penalty. But anyway, like, yes, Larry Turkey Williams and then Raymond Washington, and someone called him over to a car and boom, shot him, and killed him. So that's the same as like Larry Hoover and King David, and yeah, like they take the leaders. I reckon it's the government or something to do with it. They take the leaders out, and then it's like cutting the head off the snake, and then the rest of the gangs will already start infighting and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what you see happening time after time. They take out all the leaders, so it's like it's a free for all, and all different gang people start fighting. Do you know what I mean? Because Turkey and Raymond, they held a lot of respect, and now what the bond, or what they said went. You know what I mean? So when they got took out the picture, everyone was just fighting. That's when he said when he got out of jail, he's like to his brother, he said it ain't about like shotguns and 9mm. It's about texts and pagers, you know what I mean? Like that's what it was like. Fully autos and shit. Like when he got out after doing his 7, like, but I'll get to that anyway. Like it should be on here. So Stanley Tucci Williams, leader of the West Side Crips street gang. In his memoir, Blue Rage, Black Redemption, Tucci Williams recalled the occasions in which he and other adult members of the Crips would smoke PCP and lift weights at Williams' house. And they were swole, but it was swole. All them gangs, they used to walk around massive. Tucci was massive. It was massive, they had bad respect. Yeah, so they lifting weights every day. According to Williams, Shakur was always present at the house and would watch and all, as the gang members would lift weights and tell stories about gang fights and shootings that they had committed. In the book, Williams also expressed his regret regarding his behaviour around the impressionable young Shakur, and he held himself personally responsible for exposing Shakur to drugs, as Shakur himself would later become a frequent PCP user. In 1975, a member of the West Side Crips, nicknamed Sidewinder, this is when the beef started, formed a set called the 8-Trey Gangster Crips, also known as 83GC, ETG or ETGC, in Shakur's neighborhood. On the evening of June the 15th, and the 8-Trey Gangster Crips, the night before, Snitch 9, Takashi Snitch 9, before he started talking about Treyway and that, man, these were the real Treyways. Like the 8-Treys, man, was savage. Like they was one of the hardest gangs I but and like the rolling 60s, man, are dangerous. Do you know what I mean? So like they was two of the top gangs. Like you know what I'm saying? I know my shit, man. I've read lots of books, man. I do research, man. I'm constantly reading about stuff. You know what I mean? About gangs and that, like all that stuff like interests me, and as you know, and the people that watch it know watch me before know like I'm into that stuff. Yeah. So in Shakur's neighborhood, on the evening of June the 15th, 1975, the day of his 6th grade graduation, Kody was initiated into the 8-Trey Gangsters, Shakur was courted into the gang, also known as being jumped in, which gang members beat up the new recruit to see if he or she is brave enough to fight back and defend him or herself. Speaking of herself, they've got Cripettes, like they call them Crips and Cripettes, the women, they're called Cripettes. There's people that don't know. This is what I'm telling you. For people that know, they know, and if you know, you know. Shakur and another gang member then hotwires a stolen car, after which he and several members of the 8 Trey gangsters, all armed with revolvers and shotguns, tracked down members of the Brim Street gang, a set of the Bloods which had been hanging out in the Crip neighborhood. The 8 Trey gangsters opened fire on a group of approximately 15 Brims, shooting several of them. Shakur, armed with a sawn-off 12-gauge shotgun, instructed not to return to the car unless he used all 8 rounds of the weapon, shot several Brim gang members that evening, disfiguring an older black man. As a new member of the Crips, Shakur was mentored in the way of gangbanging by Trey. In 1977, at age 13, Shakur and Trey attempted to rob an older African-American man who was walking through their neighborhood. The man punched Shakur in the face, and after being physically restrained by Trey when he attempted to run, was kicked and stomped by Kody for approximately 20 minutes. Wow. Kody's vicious attack left the man in a coma with his face permanently disfigured. According to Shakur, Crips present at the crime scene overheard police officers saying that whoever assaulted the man was a monster and reported this back to him. From that point on, other members of the 8 Trey gangsters referred to Shakur as Monster, and he took the name as a street moniker. It was a fucking good street moniker, not Monster. First arrest for shooting. Shakur's first arrest occurred in 1978 at age 14. After he shot at the employees of a fast food restaurant who had assaulted his younger brother Carshawn and later assaulted and pulled a gun on Shakur. Carshawn Scott later joined the 8 Treys and assumed the nickname Little Monster. A week after being released from jail, Shakur was arrested again after being falsely accused of shooting a member of the Inglewood family Bloods. Yeah, the Inglewoods, man, family Bloods. While he and other members of the Crips were on their way to a roller skating rink in Compton, California on February the 14th, 1979. That's where they used to go at the weekend and that. And the other big park and that as well, where they all used to go for like meetings and all that. They'd have gang meetings and shit. It was like proper, like organised. Other members of the Crips were on their way to a roller skating rink in Compton, California. On February the 14th, 1979, Shakur was arrested for assault and grand theft auto and served 9 months at Camp Moons in Lake Hughes, California. During Shakur's stay at Camp Moons, several major events occurred on the streets of South Central Los Angeles that involved the Crips. On March the 15th, 1979, the West Side Crips leader Stanley Tucker Williams was arrested for 4 murders committed during 2 separate robberies. While on an alleged drug binge to his death, Williams steadfastly denied committing the murders. Yeah, a lot of people that I've heard said he never done it. Williams was sent. That's the point I was getting at. The leaders always get taken down. You know what I mean? And it just erupts into violence. Remember, we used to hear people in LA that saying they'd find like boxes full of machine guns in it. Where'd they come from? They got plenty of that. Do you know what I mean? Just like they took crack into black neighborhoods. Do you know what I mean? To ravage it and ruin it. Just like they done with Africa. They ruin it, pillaging it. Do you know what I mean? Taking all the resources and that. You know what I mean? Wakanda forever, man. Fucking sheesh. Yeah, so Williams was sentenced to death row and executed by lethal injection. See, I didn't want to say how he got killed because I wasn't sure. But on December the 13th, 2005, right before Christmas, listen to this. On August the 9th, 1979, this is why Tucky was in jail, Raymond Washington, the other founder of the Crips, was murdered in a drive-by shooting near his home. Because Raymond Washington always made a point never to walk up to cars, it was determined that his killers were people he knew personally, since he'd walk up to the murderer's car and had a conversation with them prior to being shot. Washington's murder was blamed on the Hoover Crips. now known as the Hoover Criminals. Yeah, they dropped the Crip name, man, out. Yeah, Hoover Criminals. You know, like Crip Max got Hoover Killer bro in his head. The Hoover's a serious gang as well, man. Yeah, Grape Street, yeah, all them. So yeah, I'm gonna do one about the East Coast, like East Coast. I'm gonna do one about East Coast Crips, like, you know what I'm saying? Like GS9s and that, like shout out Bobby Smother, man. Like, yeah, the G Stone 90s. Like, I'll throw a little video on Casanova as well, cutting up the guy. Like, everyone's saying Casanova got cut, man. It's a scratch, man. But he wet man right up, cut the guy's face a bit. But yeah, but Hoover Crips, known as the Hoover Criminals, or the Hoover Gang, which started the war between the East Side Crips and the Hoovers, which still goes on to today. Shakur, along with his best friend, the archery crazy D. Denard, was deeply involved in this gang war and were responsible for shooting and assaulting dozens of members of the Rolling 60s on December the 31st, 1980. 16-year-old Shakur was ambushed and shot 6 times by 3 adult members of the Rolling 60s after being set up by a group of girls who were dating friends from his set. Perhaps what saved his life was the fact that earlier that evening Kody had been drinking a cheap brand of low-end fortified wine called Night Train. See, in Scotland it's Buckfast. Buckfast means you fuck fast. Yeah, called Night Train. And smoked PCP with other members at the Trey Gangsters as the gang celebrated New Year's Eve. She got shot on New Year's Eve, man. Boom. Shit, 6 times. And the level of inebriation that Shakur was under at the time of the shooting prevented him from going into shock. After being shot, Shakur reported having hallucinations of seeing the faces of all the gang members he had shot since joining the Crips, as well as seeing the infant daughter that he had had with his girlfriend Tamu. Shakur survived the shooting and was hospitalized for several weeks. Shakur's younger brother, Kelshawn, who was by now a member of the H-Rays and nicknamed Little Monster. Think he was 16, his brother must have only been about 14. Sought vengeance for his older brother's shooting on New Year's Day 1981. Kelshawn and several teenage members of the H-Ray Gangsters committed a string of retaliatory shootings. Kelshawn shot 2 teenagers who were standing in the front yard at a house party that was being thrown in the Rolling 60s neighborhood, and later that evening shot another teenager to death in a drive-by as the young man was walking down the street. Kelshawn was later arrested and sentenced to 5 years in California, or 47 years. Youth authority for murder as a juvenile were recovering in the hospital. Shakur's assailants from the Rolling 60s came to the hospital in an attempt to finish him off. Due to the intervention of a nurse who was attending to him, however, Shakur was unharmed. When he was released from the hospital, he continued gangbanging and would spend the remainder of the 1980s in and out of the penal system for numerous violent offences. While in prison during the 1980s, Shakur befriended members of the Republic of New Africa movement. Shakur, who dropped out of high school, began to educate himself in prison. He changed his name to Sanyika Shakur and began changing his viewpoint regarding his role in the plight of black people in the United States of America. After being released from prison in 1988, Kody married his longtime girlfriend Tamu. In January 1981, Kody was arrested for assault and grand theft auto after beating up a crack dealer who was working as a police informant and stealing the dealer's van. Shakur was incarcerated during the 1982 Los Angeles riots that occurred after the acquittal of the 4 police officers not accused that beat the shit out of Rodney King, following a traffic stop. Accused is not accused, man. They did do it. The beating of a white truck driver, Reginald Denny, was committed by members of the H-Ray Gangsters in Shakur's neighborhood. This event, as well as participation in Leon Bing's book Do or Die, inspired Kody to write his book Monster, the autobiography of an LA gang member. Friendships with Tupac's friendships for Tupac Shakur. In the early 1990s, Kody, now calling him Señor Shakur, met rapper Tupac Shakur. The two became friends, and Shakur mentioned Tupac in the introduction of his book. In 1996, as Shakur was on the run from police for a parole violation. For a parole violation, he met up with Tupac on the set of an X-rated version of Tupac's music video. How do you want it? How do you feel? For real. Kody would ever. This would be the last time that Kody would ever see Tupac. On September the 13th, 1996, Tupac Shakur died after being shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada, 7 days earlier, allegedly by members of the Southside Compton Crips, Baby Lane, Orlando Anderson. Kody would later interview Tupac's alleged murderer, Orlando Anderson, for a December 1997 Vibe magazine article about Tupac's murder, in which Anderson denied being involved in the rapper's murder. After being captured by police, Shakur was sent to Pelican Bay State Prison, where Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight was also incarcerated for parole violation that stemmed from the participation in the assault on Anderson. According to the Vibe magazine article, Shakur, upon hearing that Tupac had been shot, initially suspected that Suge Knight had set him up because Tupac was planning to leave Death Row Records to start his own record label. And the article stated that he was incredulous after hearing Knight's claim that Tupac died owing him money, despite selling over $60 million worth of albums for Death Row Records, and that he knew that all of Tupac's possessions, including his home and cars, were in Knight's name. At the end of the interview, Knight told Shakur that Orlando Anderson was indeed the person who killed Tupac. Orlando Anderson was killed on May 29, 1998, in an unrelated shooting of Karma. I know about that as well. In March 2007, Shakur, already sought by police for parole violation and named on the city's most wanted gang members list, was arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department for allegedly breaking into the home of an acquaintance. Pardon me. In order that mysterious car, the charges represented a possible false strike that could send Shakur back to prison for life. In May 2008, Shakur pleaded no contest to carjacking and robbery charges and was sentenced to 6 years. You read that? I remember he was asking. On July the 10th, 2017, Shakur was sent back to prison for an assault conviction out of San Diego County. He was incarcerated in Centinela State Prison in Imperial, California, and later at Solano State Prison in Vacaville, California, where he was interviewed by the radio program Uncuffed. He was later released on parole. On June the 6th, 2021, Shakur was found deceased in a tent in a homeless encampment in Oceanside, California. His cause of death, according to San Diego County Coroner's Office, is a stroke. He died of a stroke, man. Fucking hell. Yeah, so that was Monster Kody, man, and Tupac, like, it's a little bit of Tupac, like, but yeah, yeah, I hope you liked that anyway, do you know what I mean? As I said, I'm gonna do some more, like, gang member stuff, so if you like it, man, subscribe in it. I need more subscribers, like, people hit me up, man, like, show some love in it, like, peace, love, and respect, man, to everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye. King Jock out.